Hey there, it's Kelly O'Connell, author and attorney, and this is Knockout Podcasts. Doing another quickie after the election. People are still reacting to the election, and I would say and this is the election in Virginia and New Jersey, of course. The Republicans won of course, the Virginia race, and then New Jersey was very, very tight all day. It looks like that Murphy has about 30,000 votes on his opponent, but it could go to recount because it's millions of votes involved. So, in any event, I was talking to a friend, and he said, "What's your takeaway?" So I thought I would put my takeaway here and go ahead and give it to you real quick. And I'd say overall, if you look at what's going on, a lot of the party is in denial. The ones that are talking have said, the senators said it was because we haven't passed this bill. And of course, people didn't have anything to work on for us because we didn't pass this big bill that we promised. All the senators were saying this. And I think that's just absolute hogwash. I don't think it really has anything to do with the bill. I think the bill not passing has to do with deeper problems, which are that the Senate and the House are both in conflict with each other, the Democrats, because there's super leftists, AOC and the squad, they're the ones who wanted $5 or $7 trillion worth of spending, and they're the ones who would benefit off that because their clients are very far left and they want all kinds of these welfare projects. Now, Senator Manchin is holding back, and he's created a lot of fury from his other Democrats, and the same with Sinema too, from Arizona. And Manchin's from West Virginia. But Manchin got up and said, the fact that this happened, that we lost this race we should have won, shows how upset the people are. And that's true. But the left is refusing to really accept it, because if they did, if you think about this, what are the people mad about? I'll go get into it in the article. But they're generally mad at things that are totally unacceptable. And because of that, and because the Democratic Party has gone so far to the left that they've replaced reality in their mind with leftism, with Marxism. And so I don't think there's any default. I don't think there's pressing the power button and resetting it, rebooting it. I don't think that's possible. It's just based on the personalities that I see. Some of them are very old. Nancy Pelosi is ancient. And, Bernie Sanders is ancient. Joe Biden has passed his sell-by date by years. And these far leftists are the ones that really have control of the party. And everybody knows that Biden is not making his own plans, his own decisions, because even when he says something about, I'm going to take questions, they told me who to talk to. And he's got this thing that looks like a high school yearbook with the pictures of the person and the name underneath and where they work. And they've exchanged questions already. So there's no suspense there, and Biden can't be thrown off. But what do you think? Why do you think that voters rejected the McAuliffe? And, I'm open to listen, but, I think it's pretty obvious they did a lot of polling. And so now, what happens for the Dems after the Virginia election disaster, and as the stench from their spectacular wrecks pile higher, more bloodletting will flow. There's got to be more of a balancing that comes out. People naturally like for there to be balance, and when there isn't balance, they feel unhappy. And so they are looking to give more power to the GOP, so the GOP has more ability to fight against the craziness. Now, you have to understand that liberals are now trembling, pondering Virginia Democrat governor candidate McAwful McAuliffe, Terry McAwful McAuliffe. my nickname for him, McAwful, being cornered, neutralized, and discarded like a gopher trapped underground with a water hose blasting his hole. He might enjoy that. But what does yesterday's results in New Jersey and Virginia, what does it really say about where we're at right now? And what does the future hold? All right, I don't think the future is very bright for a couple of reasons. Now, first, the American people are scared. They're confused and they're angry at the Democrat choices since Joe Biden shuffled into office. And this is because the whole way that Biden was elected, it was not organized very well. And they had to take advantage of whoever they could. And so once he got into power, since he didn't have a power base himself because he doesn't make rational decisions, he's out of his mind, or he's demented. So other people have to call the shots. And it's been said that Susan Rice, this lady that got in trouble for lying to the Senate about Benghazi and all these other things, that she is the power behind the throne. And if she is, then that means that the Obama is the power behind the throne, because they're very, very tight. And she's now worth like $200 million. All of these people are given, it seems like they're given insider information for stocks. They don't go out and start a store or something, a business. They somehow get it on the stock market. And the reason that's popular is they feel like they're stealing from other people that are much richer than them. Or they don't see it as stealing at all. So, first, people are scared, confused, and angry. It's not a political party that they recognize. The second part is Americans now want revenge. They're tired of being lectured to and lied about and insulted on a daily basis. And so in AG Merrick Garland's shambolic congressional testimony, he brazenly lied repeatedly when asked very basic questions. Did you hear about this? Did you know about that? And he'd always say, huh? What? Huh? I never heard of that. It's a big event. And this guy's sitting there lying, and then he comes back to the next one. Yeah, I just watched a TV show on this. So this guy who runs arguably the most powerful investigative body in the world, the United States Justice Department, gets his information from CNN, from the mainstream media. It was an insult. So fair-minded people listening to this, they understand they're being insulted with all the lies. And so it causes people to want to put these people in their place, and there's obviously something wrong with Merrick Garland. All of these people, they love their families, their great parents or whatever, and yet they would destroy somebody else's family in a heartbeat to get their goals. Now, there's so many man-made disasters right now that people want to see all of this end. Now, think about this, and I'm going to miss some. The illegal immigrants coming in the millions in 1 year. This month, 400,000. Wild spikes in fuel costs, and then begging OPEC for more after shutting down American sources of oil. And then the president gets up and says, I can't think of any way to fix this. The Afghanistan catastrophe. Taxes and inflation are spiraling. COVID orders are spawning labor shortages, and now including federal-led firings. So across the United States, people are supposed to be fired in industries where they don't have enough workers. Excuse me. And spiking violent crime, constant race baiting, children not in school, or if they're in school, they're taught that they're racist if they're white, broken supply chains, et cetera, and there's more out there, I'll guarantee it. These are all happening at the same time out of nowhere, so it's the policies of Biden. Everybody knows it. People are not even really defending Biden anymore. And so citizens know that this savage and brutal administration means the death of the republic. That's what they want. They want to reformat this country, and so they're fighting back to save America. That's another reason there's going to be more election upsets. Now, the most important part is that these guys are so caught up in their ideology, they've mistaken it for reality. And ideology should give you a way to organize your thoughts or make goals or to help you understand the world. But for these people, it takes over their world. The Nod Squad, led by AOC, they're going to block any spending bill that does not grant all their demands. So they want the $5 trillion. And so because these mindless radicals realize the clock is ticking and their chances are going away, they probably will never have another chance. They're going to demand everything. And, you listen to AOC and you realize she just doesn't seem like a very educated person. So between them, AOC, Senator Manchin, and our punch-drunk president-in-chief, Joe Biden, the Dems goose is cooked. There's nobody who's going to give, nobody who's going to stop, nobody who's going to take a breath. So the inevitable is going to happen. What's the inevitable? Well, because people have seen through the lies and they've seen the outcome of the Democrats' policies, they understand that there's a heart of darkness pulsating beneath the chests of all these true Marxists, and it's very scary because if you've seen in real Marxism, they're not afraid to kill people. I'm not saying that these people are all killers, but some of them would be if they got into power. I mean, that's you see how they don't care about anybody or the effect of any of their policies because they're too busy pointing fingers and blaming other people for how unhappy they are. Now, because of their unrelenting wild leftism and ceaseless failure, Americans will continue rejecting Democrats, returning power to the GOP. Then the question becomes, on their way back from the wilderness, will Americans embrace Donald Trump again? What do you think about that? I mean, pretty sensational idea. I know people have been talking about it and everything, but would you vote for him again? Or did you vote the first time? Now, will they finally punish the lawless Democrats after years of felony assaults against our republic? Or, as I heard Sean Cotton say today, he warned the Democrat colleagues of his in the Senate that if they didn't change their crazy antics right now, the chill you will feel next year is the voters walking over your graves. Which I thought was a pretty dang good closing. It was very powerful. And I've got a clip of that for you there in my podcast I'm going to name, which you already see it. So, Future of Democratic Party, the Political Graveyard. And I've got zombie pictures of Joe, Nancy, and Hillary in the graveyard, so hopefully that's not too disgusting. But what are you going to do? So, do you agree with me? I mean, honestly, I don't see how I'm wrong because it's inevitable. They lost an election to a former Virginia governor who was very well connected to a guy that nobody knew, and is a Christian. His lieutenant governor is unbelievable. Her name is Sears, and she's from Jamaica. She left there when she was 6, and she's just spectacular. And she's black and she's conservative. She was a Marine, and you know what? I predict she's going to be the next governor of that state. She's just seems like a wonderful person. All right, let's get to some weird news. All right, here's your dose of weird news, and this is California woman 24 starts speaking with a New Zealand accent after waking up from a 2-week coma, despite never having visited that country, and she's now left with a rare brain condition. Summer Diaz, 24, Los Angeles, was hit by an SUV while crossing the street last November, so she developed a foreign accent syndrome, FAS, and she couldn't speak when she first got out, but now she can. She's in a wheelchair, and hopefully she's getting better. She looked pretty bad, but she was only in there for 2 weeks, so hopefully she'll have a new life. Maybe she'll move to New Zealand to feel more comfortable. Memphis police say man stabbed wife, killed her, and then tried to vacuum the blood up. And I'm assuming that it was a wet and dry vacuum. I'm just guessing. All right, next. Didn't have any more information on that, but a man attempting to get away from law enforcement officials jumped from a bridge into a Florida river Friday night after losing control of a stolen van. And they've got this really cool, if you can look this up, and just look up Lee County, Florida, Sheriff's Department, LEE. And they've got it in kind of black and white, but in kind of photo negative. And the van's driving along, and it goes up on this bridge, and all of a sudden it goes out of control and hits the side. Then a guy jumps out, and he pulls himself over the side of the bridge, and then the police stop and start going toward him, so he jumped into the water. Edison Bridge in Fort Myers, Florida, on the West Coast. And he then looked down and finally jumped into the water, and then pulled out of the water by the Marine Patrol Unit and taken to a hospital for treatment. And he kind of landed, I think he kind of landed on his back. And so the Sheriff's Department said while he may not have earned a gold medal for his high dive grade, did find himself in hot water. So you've got to go look that up. It's pretty amazing. Woman tries to run mother and children off-road while waving a gun at them. This is really insane. This is Breonna Parker. And she's only 20. She got into a war with this other woman, and this is in Memphis, Tennessee. And it started October 20 when the 20-year-old Breonna Parker went to the mother's house on Goodwill Lane around 11:30 p.m., late at night, and posted a Facebook Live video of herself waving a gun around and yelling at the mother to come outside and fight her. Mom didn't come out, so Parker came back the next day, drove by, waved the gun, honked her horn, and demanded the mother come out and fight her. So then Friday, the next day, the mother was going to pick up her 7-year-old, and she's got 5 kids with 4 of them ages 1 to 4 in the car. When she saw Parker, the mother said Parker circled the school parking lot a few times before she pulled into teacher's space and waited for her and the children to leave. As she left the school, Parker pulled up alongside of them, pointed a gun at the mother, and threatened to kill her. And the mother recorded the horrifying incident. And Parker swerved towards mom, trying to run her off the road or into other cars. Then she swerved in front of the mother's car and slammed on the brakes, almost hitting the mother's vehicle. Parker is now charged with 8 counts of aggravated assault. So, where's the father? Where's that dang father? All right. So, this is a story I'm not going to get too far into because you already know what it is. But remember the story of the guy that went to the school board meeting, and he said that his daughter was raped at this Virginia school, and he was told that no rape had ever happened. And so they took him and threw him on the ground and tased him and everything. All right, the mother of this kid that did the raping says that he's just a troubled boy who identifies as a male and just wanted sex. Now, here's from Daily Mail. A judge found the teenage boy wearing a skirt guilty last week of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old female classmate in the girls' bathroom at their school. Speaking exclusively to the Daily Mail, his mother, who asked not to be identified for the sake of her son, defended his actions. She said his actions were that of a heterosexual hormonal teen who had consensual sex with the girl twice before. Now that's news, if it's true. She says he's a 15-year-old boy that wanted to have sex in the bathroom with somebody that was willing. She said her son is trying to find himself by wearing a skirt one day and pants the next for attention he desperately sought. First of all, he's not transgender, and I think all this is doing an extreme disservice to those students who are actually identified as transgender. Good move, Mom. You don't want to trash all transgenders. But she admits that her son is deeply troubled and has a history of misbehavior that included sending nude photos of himself to a girl in the 5th grade. Hopefully he was in the 5th grade when that happened. He's also been charged with sexually assaulting another girl in October. She insists the public is twisting this just enough to make it a political hot button issue. What do you think about that? Okay, thanks for tuning in. And the Democratic Party is due for a fall. The prediction here is they are going to fall. They have to fall. Because who's the leader of the party? It's not Joe Biden. It's somebody else. And it's really unnerving. And so you can't... And here's another dilemma. We're going to talk about it in another show. Joe Biden's not fit, so he needs to be replaced by Kamala. Kamala is worse off than he is, so the Democrats are trapped by their own cleverness. And as I've said before, careful for what you wish for, because in this case, they got everything. They wanted to beat Trump. They wanted to humiliate him. They did all that. And now they're in a terrible pickle. And this old man Biden is making a fool of him every single time. And people like my buddy Pete just get up and defend this guy like he's Aristotle. It's really sickening. And Pete, I hope you listen to this. Anyway, love you, man. Thanks for tuning in, Kelly O'Connell. Give me a thumbs up. I've switched from YouTube, where I had 2 videos taken off, to Rumble, which is probably where you're going to find this at. So give me some love. Give me some thumbs up. Give me a few comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Ciao.